September 22nd, 1959. And the clincher against the Cleveland Indians. Manager Al Lopez. Tampa native, 97 years old. They haven't been dancing like that on the South Side, celebrating a pennant since that year, 46 years ago. Casey Kochman, the last hope for the Angels to try to extend this game.
Louis Aparicio was in that shot, a good friend of Ozzie Guillen from Venezuela.
American League MVP that year, Nellie Fox, Cy Young Award winner, early win. Ground ball to first. The White Sox have won the pennant. Jose Contreras goes all 9. And the White Sox are going to the World Series. Don Cooper, the pitching coach, in the middle of that celebration. And how proud must he and Ozzie Guillen be of the job that their starting rotation has done in this ALCS. Look at these 4 starters and what they have done. A record of 4-1, a 2.23 ERA, held the Angels to a 179 batting average as a group, and threw 4 consecutive complete games to wrap it up.
Joe, I find it very interesting with Ozzie Guillen near the dugout, not joining the celebration now, but certainly he will later, allowing his players to celebrate, waving to the White Sox crowd behind their dugout.
Yeah, congratulations to the White Sox. Just a great, great season, and they've still got one more obstacle to pass. And the Angel organization, what a classy organization, what a great team they had this year. They just fell a little short. Congratulations to them also on a very, very good year.
The final swing, the final out of this ALCS, and it's Canerco who steps on the bag and has a hug for Contreras. '41-year-old Ozzie Guillen, Venezuelan-born manager, is taking the Chicago White Sox to the World Series for the first time since 1959. Congratulations to Jerry Reinsdorf. It's off to the Fall Classic. A 6-3 final behind the power pitching of Jose Contreras. Our Chevrolet player of the game. As you look at Ozzie Guillen, the hitting star tonight for the Chicago White Sox, Joe Crede, who knocked in 3 runs tonight. And in recognition of his outstanding play, Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Chevy, an American revolution. Crede tied it in the 7th and put the White Sox on top for good in the 8th. And let's go down to Chris Myers.
Carl Everett hugging Scott Pozenik. Chicago weather. Scott, you just won the ALCS. You're not going to Disneyland. You're going home for the World Series. Congratulations.
The Chicago White Sox are going to the World Series. I love every one of those guys behind me. I love every one of them. From day one, we went out and battled, gave it everything we had. Heart, character, that clubhouse is full of it.
The starting pitching, tremendous. The timely hitting, good defense.
Our pitching has set the tone for us from day one. They don't have words to describe what our starting staff has gone out and done this series. They have set the tone for us from day one. they deserve the credit for this series, no question about it.
All right, enjoy. We'll see you in the locker room. Hey, AJ, real quick, in the middle of a lot of controversy, obviously this team once again tonight, but you guys worked your way through it.
We find a way to get it done. I mean, this team's amazing. The way we pitch, wow, 4 complete games in a row, and we find just enough hits. And I mean, wow, I got to tip my hat to the Angels. They played great, but this is unbelievable.
And one of the newer members of this team, what does this mean for the city of Chicago?
Oh, it's great. Hopefully we get home, have a bunch of people there. We can shake some hands and get ready for a World Series in Chicago. It's been a long time.
Congratulations, AJ. All right, Joe, up to you.
All right, Chris, thank you very much. Joe Creedy in this ALCS hit .368, drove home 7 against the Angels. And riding that phenomenal starting pitching, off go the White Sox to the World Series. Congratulations, Ozzie Guillen. We'll take a break, come back, and have the trophy presentation in Anaheim.
Say it is so. The Sox look to rewrite history. Joe sharing with us earlier, 16,825 days since the last time the White Sox clinched an AL pennant in 1959. A whole lot of games have been played in that time as well. Not all of them include A.J. Pierzynski, but the ones that do will be memorable, Kevin Kennedy.
Well, definitely a momentum changer in Game 2. A.J. Pierzynski in the middle of this whole series of play as we go back to Wednesday night. Did he catch the ball? Josh Paul says yes. A.J. Pierzynski says no. He goes to first base, and that would set up what became the winning run. And don't forget, Joe Creedy drove in that winning run. Last night, catches interference in the second inning, 3-1 Sox lead. This took the Angels out of the inning. The call not made, yet you still got to give it up for A.J. Pierzynski and the starting pitching of the White Sox. A home run in this series also yesterday. And then tonight, there's the tag. But, hey, the ball's in the bare hand there. You can't do that. And the umpires reversed this call. They got it right. And guess who got the hit once again? Joe Creedy up the middle. And Aaron Rowan would score from second base. The rest is history.
And we're going back to Anaheim looking for a trophy presentation. Last year red, this year white. At least Chicago has a chance. Let's go back to SoCal.
The celebration, I think, has officially begun inside that Chicago White Sox clubhouse. Let's go down to Chris Myers for the trophy presentation.
Thanks, Joe. Somebody, there's so much celebrating. Somebody hit the light switch. Thanks for turning it back on with Jerry Reinsdorf, also Ken Williams of the White Sox, Jackie Autry, honorary American League representative, to present the trophy.
Jerry, I can't begin to tell you how proud I am of what you've accomplished. You brought 6 basketball championships to the Chicago area and to Illinois. And we are so proud of you in the American League and your entire team. And we want you to go to the World Series and bring a World Series back to Chicago. So I'm very pleased to present you with the William Heritage American League Championship Trophy for 2005.
Jackie, thank you so much. It's an honor to receive this trophy from you, one of my best friends in the 25 years that I've been in baseball. And on behalf of the great city of Chicago, it's just nothing but a pleasure to be here. 23 years ago, I signed Kenny Williams to a contract coming out of high school, and I never thought that this would happen. And this man, Ozzie Guillen, we've been together since he was 21 years old, so we are a family. And Kenny and Ozzie, I love you both, and I know the city of Chicago loves you. This is the best.
All right, Chet, look, he takes over the show here. Congratulations, Jerry. And Ozzie, if you could here, if you could just talk about what it means to the city of Chicago. You played there. You hear about frustration, ending curses. How about this moment?
Oh, I think this is special. I think for everybody, I think back in Chicago, I know people going crazy. I think this kid played great. I think those guys deserve everything they have. Believe me, it was a battle from the beginning. And we battled with Boston. It's a great team. Central Division is an unbelievable team. And we come here and play against the best. And a good thing we play good in the right time. And they do, you know, we work real hard for this.
You always kept the right tone with your team. You got a little rest, but your work's not done yet.
No, I think that's one the second biggest step we have. We got another one to go. Hopefully the next series we play better, and hopefully we bring that thing to Chicago.
All right, and you didn't join in the celebration on the field. You stood back and waited. What was that about?
Well, I always do that. I try to low-key, and a lot of people expect me to go back, jump back and forth. I just let the guys enjoy themselves. I just do my job, do the best I can, and I just stay and make sure those guys enjoy because they're the one that make play the games.
All right, well, we appreciate it. We'll see you Saturday in Chicago.
I'm going to say something now. Yes.
Venezuela? Yes, the best of Venezuela. We have your MVP here, Paul Canerco.
I'm going to say un abrazo a toda Venezuela. Y que te pa ustedes.
All right. Everybody's the host. Congratulations, Paul, on the MVP. The official trophy and presentation here from Jackie Autry.
Paul, we're very proud of you. You had a wonderful season this year. 40 home runs for 2 years in a row, 100 RBIs, and hitting 4 home runs in the postseason is the most so far. So we're very proud of you. Congratulations for being this year's MVP of the American League Championship Series.
Oh, thank you very much. Obviously, this was a total team effort, and I think you might be able to split this 4 ways amongst our pitchers. Those guys are horses, and I was just along for the ride. Really, we all were. Those guys took the ball. When you get starting pitching like that, it's almost tough to lose. Your big home runs, obviously, here in Anaheim in Game 3 and 4 set the tone with that pitching that you talked about, Paul. But clue us in on, as the champagne flows here, and you can understand the excitement, how did the momentum shift in Game 2 on that play? I mean, do you think did it give you guys, did you think that maybe it's our year? Well, I think at that point you don't know. When we came out in Game 3 and really had a good game, then, I think we look back and say, hey, that might be the turning point. But, in that game, too, we got to remember that game was tied. We were at home. Our bullpen was all fresh. So it wasn't like, we were down by a run and we scored 2 in that inning. So what can you say? I think we had the team to do it. I got it all here. I think we had the team to do this. I don't think one call made the difference. I think we've been good all year, and we're just full steam ahead here. Obviously, the best record during the course of the season. Good luck in the World Series, Paul. All right, thank you very much. Congratulations. We'll go back upstairs to Joe Buck. Joe?
All right, thank you very much, Chris, as they continue to celebrate total dominance after Game 1 of this ALCS, and the Angels ended up hitting 175 in this series against Chicago pitching. That is the lowest ever in LCS play in a series that lasted more than 3 games. I mean, what more can you say? And I think it's unbelievable that the White Sox came out here to play games 3, 4, and 5, and they didn't make one substitution from their starting lineup.
I've never heard anything like that, Timmy.
No, I haven't either. I mean, they were sensational. Almost the Mount Rushmore of the South Side right now.
Yeah, when you consider the pitching of Burley, Contreras.
White Sox.
September 22nd, 1959. And the clincher against the Cleveland Indians. Manager Al Lopez. Tampa native, 97 years old. They haven't been dancing like that on the South Side, celebrating a pennant since that year, 46 years ago. Casey Kochman, the last hope for the Angels to try to extend this game.
Louis Aparicio was in that shot, a good friend of Ozzie Guillen from Venezuela.
American League MVP that year, Nellie Fox, Cy Young Award winner, early win. Ground ball to first. The White Sox have won the pennant. Jose Contreras goes all 9. And the White Sox are going to the World Series. Don Cooper, the pitching coach, in the middle of that celebration. And how proud must he and Ozzie Guillen be of the job that their starting rotation has done in this ALCS. Look at these 4 starters and what they have done. A record of 4-1, a 2.23 ERA, held the Angels to a 179 batting average as a group and threw 4 consecutive complete games to wrap it up.
Joe, I find it very interesting with Ozzie Guillen near the dugout, not joining the celebration now, but certainly he will later, allowing his players to celebrate, waving to the White Sox crowd behind their dugout.
Yeah, congratulations to the White Sox. Just a great, great season. And they've still got one more obstacle to pass. And the Angel organization, what a classy organization. What a great team they had this year. They just fell a little short. Congratulations to them also on a very, very good year.
The final swing, the final out of this ALCS. And it's Canerco who steps on the bag and has a hug for Contreras. 41-year-old Ozzie Guillen, Venezuelan-born manager, is taking the Chicago White Sox to the World Series for the first time since 1959. Congratulations to Jerry Reinsdorf. It's off to the Fall Classic. A 6-3 final behind the power pitching of Jose Contreras. Our Chevrolet player of the game. As you look at Ozzie Guillen, the hitting star tonight for the Chicago White Sox, Joe Crede, who knocked in 3 runs tonight. And in recognition of his outstanding play, Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Chevy, an American revolution. Crede tied it in the 7th and put the White Sox on top for good in the 8th. And let's go down to Chris Myers.
Carl Everett hugging Scott Pazendik. Chicago weather. Scott, you just won the ALCS. You're not going to Disneyland. You're going home for the World Series. Congratulations.
The Chicago White Sox are going to the World Series. I love every one of those guys behind me. I love every one of them. From day one, we went out and battled, gave it up to everything we had. Heart, character, that clubhouse is full of it.
The starting pitching, tremendous. The timely hitting, good defense.
Our pitching has set the tone for us from day one. They don't have words to describe what our starting staff has gone out and done this series. They have set the tone for us from day one. They deserve the credit for this series, no question about it.
All right, enjoy. We'll see you in the locker room. Hey, AJ, real quick, in the middle of a lot of controversy, obviously this team once again tonight, but you guys worked your way through it.
We find a way to get it done. I mean, this team's amazing. The way we pitch, wow, 4 complete games in a row, and we find just enough hits. And I mean, wow, I got to tip my hat to the Angels. They played great, but this is unbelievable.
And one of the newer members of this team, what does this mean for the city of Chicago?
Oh, it's great. Hopefully we get home, have a bunch of people there. We can shake some hands and get ready for a World Series in Chicago. It's been a long time.
Congratulations, AJ. All right, Joe, up to you.
All right, Chris, thank you very much. Joe Crede in this ALCS hit .368, drove home 7 against the Angels. And riding that phenomenal starting pitching, off go the White Sox to the World Series. Congratulations, Ozzie Guillen. We'll take a break, come back, and have the trophy presentation in Anaheim.
Say it is so. The Sox look to rewrite history. Joe sharing with us earlier, 16,825 days since the last time the White Sox clinched an AL pennant in 1959. A whole lot of games have been played in that time as well. Not all of them include A.J. Pierzynski, but the ones that do will be memorable, Kevin Kennedy.
Well, definitely a momentum changer in Game 2. A.J. Pierzynski in the middle of this whole series of play as we go back to Wednesday night. Did he catch the ball? Josh Paul says yes. A.J. Pierzynski says no. He goes to first base, and that would set up what became the winning run. And don't forget, Joe Crede drove in that winning run. Last night, catches interference in the second inning, 3-1 Sox lead. This took the Angels out of the inning. The call not made, yet you still got to give it up for A.J. Pierzynski and the starting pitching of the White Sox. A home run in this series also yesterday. And then tonight, there's the tag. But, hey, the ball's in the bare hand there. You can't do that. And the umpires reversed this call. They got it right. And guess who got the hit once again? Joe Crede up the middle. And Aaron Rowan would score from second base. The rest is history.
And we're going back to Anaheim looking for a trophy presentation. Last year red, this year white. At least Chicago has a chance. Let's go back to SoCal.
The celebration, I think, has officially begun inside that Chicago White Sox clubhouse. Let's go down to Chris Myers for the trophy presentation.
Thanks, Joe. Somebody, there's so much celebrating. Somebody hit the light switch. Thanks for turning it back on with Jerry Reinsdorf, also Ken Williams.
Heard from Carl Everett as well, Joe Creedy. Let's now hear from Gail Fisher with A.J. Pierzynski.
It's incredible right now. We'll take it right now, and hopefully we can get going and win 4 more games and really have a party.
But AJ, every kid dreams about this moment, going to the World Series. How does this feel for you?
Oh, it's great. I mean, the biggest thing is we got another job to do. We got to win 4 more games and try to win a World Championship for the city of Chicago. A lot of people here tonight, a lot of people behind us, and you know, we're going to try and get it done.
Talk about your teammates. Joe Creedy, again, coming up with a big hit.
He's
Paul
the man.
Marco in this series.
They're the man. That's why he's the king. Just a phenomenal moment, huh? It's great. I mean, it's the best. I want to go spend some time with my teammates, okay?
All right, four complete games, though. Just talk about the pitchers.
Unbelievable. Amazing. Amazing. Amazing.
Gail Fisher with A.J. tried to run away from the end of that interview, and his teammates got him there with the champagne at the end, and it hurts so bad, but it feels so good, doesn't it, Bill?
Well, Pat and Gail are doing a great job because I know how those players feel. I've been in some champagne situations before, but certainly not going to a World Series. And these players really kind of want to be with themselves. You know, I think it is their job, though, to talk over there. You know, one thing comes to my mind when you really look at this picture here is you think about a guy like Ozzie Guillen, a favorite when he was here. This is a guy on the All-Century team, the White Sox All-Century team, one of the great Venezuelan shortstops for Chico Terrestel, Louis Aparicio, Ozzie Guillen. Can you imagine the feeling this guy has? The first year as a manager, that's all he ever wanted to do after 13 years with the White Sox was manage the White Sox, and now he's taken them to the World Series 46 years later. And also you got guys in that contingency like Roland Heeman, former general managers, and here's a pretty important guy right here, Paul Konerko.
Yeah, and you can see that the players really want to find some of their, celebrate with their fans, find some of their family as well as they get ready to talk here. And here's Paul Konerko.
Describe your feelings right now, the emotion.
I think we're, obviously very happy, but I see our team being focused. I see our team, once we clinch that division, we had the most wins in the American League. This is something we could have done, we should have done. And I know we didn't have a lot of playoff experience, but when you look at the positions where we have guys and the talent we have, it's just a matter of playing well, and now it's a matter of 4 more wins.
You said that this team becomes at ease when they see how the pitcher starts in the first inning. What you saw from Jose, were your nerves settled pretty quickly?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he had, that guy's always got great stuff. I don't think I've ever seen him take the ball and not have great stuff. Once I saw he had the control and had the ability to throw strikes like he's been doing for the last 3 months, I knew they were in for a fight. I was hoping we could get enough runs because we weren't doing too much offensively. And, Joe Creedy, I mean, just got 2 big ones for us tonight.
You made eye contact with Joe.
Runs and 11 RBI for the postseason to come through like you have done in the clutch. What does that mean to you personally to come through when you had to?
Well, I just know that I'm the 4 hitter in the lineup. You can't hide from that. You got to come through and you got to be there. But I know how these series goes. I mean, we could play the same series next week and I have a bad series. That's how it goes. But for us to win, I'm going to have to be there. I'm going to have to show up and do well. And I hope to do it for about another week and a half.
Ozzie Guillen's addressing the media live. Let's listen in as the party spills out on the field here at Angel Stadium.
And did you expect it to be this smooth?
Well, not really, because the way we play all year long, I think my pitching staff throw the ball real well when we need it. Boston here, I think that's a key. I think it's great because we prove a lot of people wrong. And I think I like that. When I come low key and a lot of people we take a lot of beating this year, during the year about my team, and we just keep playing. Good thing my players don't listen to what I was saying to the media, and we stick together. And I think they deserve, they earn it, and that's why I let them join themselves.
Get back there.
Ozzie, the biggest surprise regarding the Angels that you saw during this series?
Well, I think the biggest thing was feeding. A lot of people talk about Vladdy. You know what I mean? You get Figgy out of the base. That's the key. I think when you got Vladdy and Bryant and Anderson, we know people on base. It make it easier for the pitching staff. I think I know being surprised, we throw the ball real well. We pitch good. We stay with the scout report. And, you know, my guys went out and pitched excellent.
Ken, back there.
World Series appearance for Chicago in 46 years. What do you want to say to the fans back in Chicago?
Oh, enjoy it. Enjoy it. Have a great time. Don't get too crazy in the street. Be careful. I know people going wild right now. No one, you know, we don't want to hear anything what happened in the street tonight. Feel proud about this team. Feel proud what we did, what we want to do. But I think Chicago fans should feel real proud of 20, 30, 35 people helped me to win this. Those guys play hard every day. They never back up.
All right, we'll go back to Ozzie in just a bit. We are now with the chairman, Jerry Reinsdorf. Can you put into words what you're feeling right now, considering how long you've been waiting for this?
Well, I'm really numb. It's really hard to believe that, you know, we are where we are. Four wins away from the World Championship, but no matter what happens next, we've won the American League pennant. And that hasn't been done since 1959.
Tell me about the roller coaster of emotions you personally have gone through in the last 3 weeks alone. I mean, as that team made their way to Detroit, there were people talking monumental collapse, that they would not make it even to the postseason, and now they stand 4 wins away from the ultimate goal.
Well, I think when, you know, that 15-game lead was disappearing, there were an awful lot of people, including me, that were nervous. But you know, once we clinched it, I think the pressure was off, because once you've won the division, then you've had a good year. The pressure was then off, and then these guys have played like champions since then.
Is it more shocking that you came to Anaheim and won 3 straight, or that your starting pitchers threw 4 consecutive complete games?
Well, the latter, of course, is shocking. You know, the incredible thing is it's almost like a repeat of the Bulls in '91. We lost the first game at home. Then we won the next one, and we went out to L.A. for 3 games, and we were thinking, we just want to get 1 game in L.A. so we can get home to the Chicago Stadium. And we ended up winning all 3 games out there. Had the same feeling here. When we won the first game, I said, okay, at least we know we're going back to Chicago. But I really never thought we could win all 3. But just like the Bulls, we're going back champions.
Do I dare ask about the John Wayne statue?
Yeah, John Wayne watched all 3 of these games from my office. And I don't know, I think this makes him 11 or 12 wins and 2 losses.
Congratulations, Jerry. Let's send it now to Jose Contreras, the 4th consecutive complete game performer for the White Sox. He's addressing the media live on Comcast Sportsnet.
And eventually go to the World Series. Today's game was a great game, and I dedicate it to Chicago and to the fans of Chicago who waited for so long, and I know that they deserve it, because they stood by me, you know, when I was pitching bad, and now that I'm pitching great.
Michael again.
The starting pitching was tremendous, not only yourself, but 4 straight complete games. Is this the standard? I mean, this is the strength of this team, isn't it? With all due respect to the rest of the players, this kind of pitching staff is almost unheard of in the game today.
Que con todo respeto a la ofensiva, que el estado de picheo ha sido increíble, dando 4 juegos completos, que ese es el corazón del equipo, que ¿cómo te sientes ser parte de eso?
Wow, estoy feliz, estoy contento de ser parte de esa historia. Y en verdad desde ayer mis compañeros me decían de una forma jocosa de tirar juego completo. Nunca en mi mente me pasó de tirar el juego completo, ni mucho menos. Todo el mundo sabe la calidad del equipo de Los Ángeles, la gran ofensiva que tiene. Y simplemente salí a pichar mi juego. Ya después del 5º inning me concentré a tirar lanzamientos, relanzamientos, sacar a arrasado, y eso fue lo que hice durante todo el partido.
I feel very proud of being part of the staff. I never crossed my mind once, though, to throw a complete game, because when you face such a great offense at Anaheim, you never think that. I was just thinking, you know, get the W. After the 5th inning, I started making better pitches, started concentrating batter by batter, and that's where my strength came. When you face Anaheim, you can't think complete game. What we did, you might call it lucky, you might call it that we're great, but it's just we stepped it up, and I'm glad that I got to be part of this.
One more? Nothing else before I let him go? Okay, thanks for coming up.
You.
Go back to the party. That concludes the interview room for tonight.
And the party continues out on the field at Angel Stadium. You see the rest of the White Sox, and certainly Jose Contreras is on his way to join them, posing for a picture. Cigars everywhere, smiles everywhere, rowdy behavior just about everywhere. The White Sox all wearing American League pennant, T-shirts, and hats. Again, a pennant that has eluded Chicago on either side of town for 46 years since the White Sox did it last back in 1959. And here's Joe Creedy with our Pat Boyle. Pat, take it away.
All right, Josh, you're Mr. 7th inning and beyond. Can you even believe what you've been able to do in the late innings in this postseason?
Well, I just feel fortunate enough to be in a position where I can help my team win, and to be able to go in there and help. You know, it makes it that much more gratifying, especially when you can go out there and help your team win like we did tonight.
Tell me about your decisive play in the 8th inning. You're at the plate, a 3-2 count. I saw you look over to Paulie in the dugout, and he's doing this with the eyes. You knew a breaking ball was coming, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, when you got such a great breaking ball like he does, he can throw it for strikes. I mean, he just kind of left one up out of the plate. It just didn't quite drop off the table like he wanted it to, and, you know, I was fortunate enough to get a foot on the ball to get it through the infield.
What about the play of your starters? I mean, 4 consecutive complete games. Hasn't been done since the 1956 Yankees.
Well, I mean, it just shows, you know, how good they really are. And, you know, they've been carrying us through this whole series and throughout the whole year. You know, I mean, for them to be able to do that was huge for us.
Joe, congratulations. Enjoy the party.
Thank you.
Let's send it back to you. We'll get more players in just a bit.
All right, Pat, we look forward to that. And you know what's interesting is it's really hard for us for these guys to put into perspective, I think, what it means over the course of time, Bill. But it certainly is possible for them to put this season in perspective. In fact, Cliff Polite spoke to our Chuck Garfien just a moment ago.
We're going to the World Series. Unbelievable. You can't say enough for these guys. Our pitching staff is outstanding. The starters did a great job. Shoot, I didn't even have to go and dress out the last 4 days, but our hitters came through when we needed a big hit, and our starters did a hell of a job. Now we're at the World Series.
You realize what this means to the city of Chicago? 1959.
It's awesome. This is for the city of Chicago. This is why everybody came here to play, so we get the World Series and the division title in Chicago.
Your starting pitching has been insanely good.
Can't say enough for them. It's all been... Hey,
that was Paul Konerko giving you a little bass.
Baby!
Chuck Garfien, first-hand witness there to Paul Konerko and Cliff Polite exchanging champagne sprays, and Ozzie Guillen and Kenny Williams. You know, Pat alluded to it just a moment ago, Bill. Here are two guys who were part of the White Sox organization as players. It has to be especially sweet for them.
Well, you talk about two guys that they deserve a lot of praise, and I say that because Kenny Williams took a chance. You normally don't take chances in baseball. You usually hide behind the fact that you're a general manager. You don't put yourself out the line because you want a cushy job. That's not what Kenny Williams is. Kenny Williams is a proactive general manager. He stands by every move he makes. And when you change an organization around in 1 year and have this kind of success with a first-year manager, that's just a testament not only to Kenny Williams, but the baseball department. These are the people that are checking out who's available on the wires. These are the people that say, you know, this is all working. These are the people, much like A.J. Pierzynski, they're probably going to hold that trophy up a little bit themselves. But, you know, overall...
Good look at that, too. Yeah. That's a long time since that trophy has resided in Chicago.
As an organization, it's an organizational thing. I know people don't like to hear that, but it's a lot of work from the minor leagues to up to the big leagues. These guys have all come through, or most of them through the minor league systems with other organizations. Aaron Rowan, you see right here with the White Sox. I can't imagine. I mean, this is what we're looking at here is adults acting like kids in a kid's game, and that's just a lot of fun. I think they're going to have time to reflect on this. Once they get back to Chicago, they're going to take a time to breathe, and then when they go out there in batting practice, I think they'll have a lot more time to sit and reflect on really what went down. For you and I sitting here, to me, it's amazing. You look at Don Cooper, I've got to say, he's pretty close to an MVP, too, because this guy handled the pitching staff. And, you know, most importantly about Don Cooper, he had a lot of these guys in the minor leagues. So he's gone from the minor leagues to the big leagues. That's really important. And, you know, it's obviously this thing's a little, everybody wants a picture with that trophy, huh?
Yeah, well, he had the 4 starters there with their complete games, and now the 3 heroes of Game 5, Aaron Rowan with a couple of runs, and there's Greg Walker, the hitting coach, A.J. Pierzynski, the hero of the series. He, once again, with a heady play, keeps running hard and keeps an inning alive. Joe Creedy with the home run and the game-winning RBI. And, Bill, you're talking about the organization. It's an organization that has not always won public fan support, but has stayed very much together. We'll build on that in a second, but here's Pat Boyle, Pat with A.J. Pierzynski. Pat, go ahead.
All right, I'm with A.J. Pierzynski. The celebration continues. What's going through your mind?
It's amazing. I mean, it's incredible. It's an amazing feeling. It's a something you dream of as a kid your whole life to get to the World Series, and we've done it, and it's a long ways. I mean, it's so hard to get here, so hard to even get to the playoffs and then win 2 series. We got a chance for one of the last 2 teams to play. We get 4 more wins, we get a ring, and we'll be remembered forever.
Everybody talks about the complete game performances from the pitchers. You're the guy behind the plate during that. Do you realize how historical, what the kind of significance that is?
I don't know if you'll ever see that again. 4 straight complete games in the playoffs. I mean, against a playoff quality caliber team with a lineup like they have. You know, I give the Angels credit. They battled us and they didn't quit, but in the end, you know, our pitching was unbelievable.
I don't know what's more shocking, the amazing performance by the pitchers or some of the plays that you were involved in. Tell me about the one in particular tonight.
The one tonight was he made a mistake. He tagged me with the glove, and if you watch the replay, I was clearly safe. And, you know, he knew he messed up. That's why he threw the ball to first, and that's what he kept saying. And, you know what, it came down to, you know, in the end, Joe still had to get a hit, and he did it. And he's done it all series. He's done it all year, and he's amazing.
What about these White Sox contingent that
it's great. I mean, look at them all. I mean, what? There's got to be 2,000 or 3,000 White Sox fans. And you know what? This is for them. This is for all the people in Chicago. And we're coming home as American League champs, and hopefully we can come home as World Series champions.
AJ, have a safe flight home. We'll see you.
Thank you.
All right, AJ Pierzynski joining us live on Comcast Sportsnet. We'll send it back to you, Josh.
Okay, Pat. And just to finish AJ's thought there, the idea that even with all the mistakes and the errors, there were still guys who came through and cleaned up in every situation, as was the case today. Joe Creedy taking advantage to put the Sox ahead in the 8th.
No matter how good a guy you are, trouble seems to find you, and that's exactly what happened with A.J. Pierzynski. But here's a guy right here that really kind of stepped it up in the last couple of games. Aaron Rowan played an outstanding center field. Had a big hit last night, another big hit tonight, and a big sacrifice fly.
So let's have Pat ask him some questions. Aaron Rowan's on tap. Pat, go ahead.
All right, Josh, thank you very much. I'm with Aaron Rowan. First time probably that a Bears win is less significant to you than a White Sox victory on a Sunday.
Yeah, but it's close.
Tell me about what was going on in the 8th inning here. The bizarre play with AJ and the key at bat with Joe Creedy with you on second.
Well, he tried to tag him with his glove, and he had the ball in his bare hand. So I mean, you can't do that. He could have just flipped the ball over to first base, and AJ would have been out. But then you bring up Mr. Clutch in the situation, and you knew something good was going to happen.
And K-Rod's throwing absolute filth out there, but you knew the breaking ball was coming. I guess it was advantageous for you guys to have a 3-2 count. You're able to move on that, and that made all the difference as far as getting home.
Yeah, Joe worked a good at bat, and you know, he worked the pitch. He worked the pitcher so that he had to, you know, he was picking, and Joe took some good close pitches, and you know, end up 3-2. You know he's going to throw a fastball. He don't want to load the bases. So, you know, Joe got a base hit up the middle. Adam knocked it down, and Joey sent me, you know, from the get-go. Never slowed down.
Aaron, tell me the roller coaster emotions you've been through personally in the last 3 weeks. I mean, you guys arrive in Detroit. There's a lot of questions whether you even make the postseason, and now you stand 4 wins away from winning it all.
It's just a testament to these guys. You know, we've had our shares of ups and downs this season, and there are a lot of doubters to what this team was capable of doing. And, you know, we never did for a bit. And, you know, I'm at a loss for words right now. I can't believe it. You know, that was the first thing that went through my head after Paulie caught that ball is I can't believe we're going to the World Series.
Aaron, enjoy it. Enjoy the flight back. Be safe. We'll see you this week.
All right, thanks a lot.
Aaron Rowan joining us live here on Comcast Sportsnet. We'll send it back to you, Josh.
All right, Pat, and, you know, you think about it, too, Bill, with the White Sox and what they were able to accomplish. And you know, they have 5 days now, 6 days before the World Series starts here at U.S. Cellular Field on Saturday. We're still awaiting the National League Championship Series winner. The Astros lead that series 3-1 with Andy Pennant taking the hill for Game 5 in Houston on Monday. We were talking also about the White Sox front office and how they, you know, they've had to fight off some public. The support for the team itself hasn't always been strong. Even this year, they had, what, 80,000 for a 3-game set with Kansas City in September. But they've really rebuilt the identity of this franchise, a family-friendly franchise, a franchise that's very much out in the community, not only looking for fans, but trying to become very synonymous with the city of Chicago and involved in all that Chicago has to offer.
Well, you know, it really started about 10 years ago when they started changing their direction to make it fan-friendly for kids. We have a lot of kids' days. We knew it would take time to build up, 15 or 20 years, but eventually those fans that came out when they were 5, 6, 7 years old to Willy Wonka day at the ballpark will turn around and be season ticket holders. And it has become a fan-friendly ballpark. You know, being a White Sox fan is really tough. It's always been tough being a Sox fan. Not for me. I mean, I was a born Sox fan. I played for the White Sox, but, you know, it is tough. You know what? And this is nothing but pride for these fans. They can do a lot of bragging right now. They're the first team to go to the World Series since 1959. They haven't won one since 1917.
And pride for the organization as well, which is the point that we were all making. Here's a guy who's got to be proud, Don Cooper with Pat Boyle.
Thanks a lot, Josh. Don, enjoying the stogie here. Tell me what it means to you to be the coach to see 4 complete games and nearly a 5th.
Proud as heck. Proud as heck. And glad that I could be here to watch it and be a part of it. I'm awful proud of these guys. They went above and beyond the call. You know, we went to the whip a little bit, you know. It's the end of the year, you know. We see the end of the race, we see the finish line. And tonight and every night prior to this in this series, you know, they gave us every reason to believe they could continue on the game, and they did it.
Did these starting pitchers feed off one another? Did they challenge each other?
They fed off each other all year. I mean, from spring training on, there was a competition factor. We got off to a good start. So nobody wanted to be the trail dog. They all wanted to be the lead dog, so they wanted to keep up with each other. And that created a good, healthy, competitive competition between them. And that's a great thing to have.
How close were you guys to going to that bullpen tonight?
We weren't really close. The only concern that we really had was had Contreras sat too long in between the last couple innings because they were a little long. Pitch and change, guys on base. That was our only concern. It certainly wasn't because of how he was pitching, because he retired the last 15 guys. So that was our only concern, but we wanted him to at least get through Guerrero because he was the guy for that job. And then, heck, he went through that 8th inning real quick, and we sent him right back out.
Let's face it, you have 4 aces on this staff. They've been aces at different points in this season. Did you ever imagine that they would all come together in this 2-week or 3-week span playing the best ball that each one of them has been?
We're always hoping and expecting good outings because they've trained us to do this over the year. And they've been good. So we expect nothing less than that, really. But they stepped up another level as far as performance and in the setting. I mean, this is the ALCS. You know, this is the second biggest moment in baseball, you know, other than the next little show we're going to. So, God, yeah, they're awesome. They couldn't be better.
Enjoy that little show. We'll be there every step of the way, Don. Thank you for joining us. Let's get Kenny Williams here live in just a sec. Guys, I'll send it back to you for just a sec.
Okay, we'll kill some time there while Kenny is getting ready to go. And you think about this, too, Bill. Here's Kenny making his way to Pat Boyle. Here's Kenny. Let's go. Go ahead, Pat. Go ahead. Go.
All right, Josh, thank you very much. Kenny, you came up and planted one on your Venezuelan skipper there. Just tell me the emotions you've been going through.
Well, in order for me to kiss another man, as you know how I'm feeling pretty darn good about things. And, you know, we've got another obviously large hurdle, but we're going to take a few days and enjoy this. And it's for all, you know, my feelings of joy are for everybody back in Chicago and the feelings that people have for us back then and the passion that I've seen. I mean, it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. I got to get to this picture with the chairman. This is very important.
There you go. We'll let him go see his boss, and then we'll get back to him in just a bit. This is a night that everybody in the South Side that's been a part of this organization, certainly Kenny has taken his fair share of criticism, decided to basically blow up the blueprint this past offseason, go with Scott Pasetic to lead things off, bring in A.J. Pierzynski, who some thought was a bad egg in the clubhouse, brought in Tadahito Iguchi, who nobody in the White Sox organization had even seen play in person in Japan. And then he melded together one of the greatest starting rotations in recent days. Kenny comes back over here. For Mr. Reinsdorf to go through what he's gone through, you know, you talk behind closed doors with him. What's that like, and what do you think this means to him personally?
Oh, my gosh. You know, that's all we've talked about. We've talked about it for years and years, and this is where he wanted to bring this team. And for me to have a small part in getting him, you know, at least to be one of the last 2 teams and see how happy he is right now. And all of the fans that have come out here. I mean, this is
amazing to see this.
It's very humbling. Very humbling.
I got to ask you one last question. Sometimes the best moves are the ones you don't make at all. Do you feel in the back of your mind that it was great that you stuck with the club that really came to play every day?
You know, in July when everyone was talking about trading deadline and everything, we just felt that unless it was an impact type, no doubt about it type guy, that we weren't going to break up this group. They've got something, a bond, something special that I hadn't seen before, and for them to go out and play from day one, as hard as they played, with a little bit of an edge and chip on their shoulder because people didn't think that they were as good as we thought they were. And then people tried to pick them apart here and there, and they stuck together. They stuck together on the field and off the field. And, you know, so I think it just, you know, if we proved anything, maybe that sometimes it's just not all talent-based. You know, we threw a lot of talent out there the last few years, even to the point where the team that was beating us for the division was saying that we had more talent. That's kind of a slap in the face.
You're talking about heart. When did you sense that this team had the kind of heart and the kind of guts that could make them a champion?
Well, honestly, that's what we tried to go out and get this offseason, were guys that we felt cared as much as we cared and reflected really our fan base's attitudes and the kind of a workmanlike attitude and leave it all on the field kind of attitude. And if it didn't work out, we'd have been all right with that because we'd have known that these guys gave it everything they have.
One of those leaders is Paul Konerko, obviously a free agent next. Do you think you can sign him before Game 1 of the World Series?
I'm not going to talk about that right now. Come on, this is a good feeling. I'm going to get to the celebration, guys.
Kenny,
Thanks.
Kenny, let's send it back to you guys in the studio.
No problem. Okay, Pat, thanks very much. Interesting words from Kenny Williams, you know, the kiss. You think about that with Ozzie Guillen, how very South American of Kenny. But that's really sort of what's happened. They've embraced. Kenny Williams went out with a plan, as he said, brought players in who would fit that plan, and they've embraced each other. A lot of them have been in the playoffs before, but very few of them have even been in a World Series before.
Well, first of all, he didn't waver all year long. That's very difficult to do as a general manager when you're in a big city like this, getting pressure all around you, and you've got an owner that hasn't won in 25 years, Jerry Reinsdorf being the second longest tenure of any owner, George Steinbrenner, #1. I mean, you really wanted to get something together for a guy. I mean, Jerry will be 70 years old, and he's always talked about his Bulls, his 6 Bulls championship. He would give one chance for a shot at the World Series. Well, Kenny Williams has got to feel terrific. I mean, you talk about pressure on the line. This is a general manager that had the pressure of staying with this ball club and believing in 25 guys. It's rare in baseball that you got a general manager not only cares but will stand behind you. I mean, they all say they care, but how many of them will really stand behind you? And he just said, you know, this is the 25 guys. I think they're good enough. I don't care what people say. I've seen these guys play. Again, a first-year manager, didn't have a clue what was going to happen. Ozzie gelled, mixed them together. He was a perfect personality. It's all about personalities in that clubhouse and who they respect. They respect Ozzie Guillen. They trust in him. I've said it before, he's like a player coach. He's like the 25th man, 26th man on the roster. You know, when it all goes together, this is the result you get right here.
Yeah, a perfect bridge in many ways. You know, so many managers in this day and age and throughout history have been a generation or three-quarters of a generation removed. Ozzie was playing as late as 2000 with the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, learned something from his experience coaching the Marlins back in 2002, 2003, making it to and winning the World Series in 2003 with that Florida Marlins, coming from behind over a heavily favored Cubs team that had them down 3-1. He was not about to make the same mistake that they did, letting this Angels team off the floor the way the Cubs let the Marlins off the floor. Let's listen to what Ozzie is saying right now as he's getting ready maybe to talk to some of the members of the media here and our Pat Boyle.
He's enjoying a moment here, right here. Can we talk to you real quick, Ozzie? Ozzie's making his way as the party continues, spread out all over the place here at Angels Stadium.
Right, that was Roland Hemond, who originally picked up Ozzie Guillen and brought him to the South Side as a player after he'd been drafted by the San Diego Padres in 1982, and he made his debut with the White Sox in '85, just 2 years after the winning ugly team in 1983. And, you know, you thought that with Ozzie anchoring the middle infield, they were going to win an American League pennant with Ozzie as a player. Did make the playoffs in that '93 season where they lost to the Blue Jays. Probably had the best team in '94 when the strike or the lockout ended that season in August and didn't give the White Sox and that terrific team with Wilson Alvarez and Alex Fernandez and Jack McDowell all up front. I didn't give that team a chance to play in the World Series because there wasn't one in that season. Again, you're looking live at the pictures at field level at Angels Stadium, but the players continue to party inside the clubhouse. Paul Konerko now with our Chuck Garfien.
You've been so clutch throughout this whole series. What does this mean to you?
It means it's everything just short of a world championship, and that's what we got to do. 4 more. You know, I said it after each time we clinched something this year. I said it looks like we're satisfied in here and everybody's having fun, but I still think this team thinks we got the team to do it all, and we've come this far. We might as well finish it off.
And Jose Contreras, another complete game.
Guys, you got to go. Jose Contreras is an ox. That's all I got to say. All of our guys are.
Paul Konerko going for the ox reference as opposed to the more common horse reference, which we so often hear, especially when you're talking about 4 guys. And even though most of the players are off the field now and back in the clubhouse as they get ready to maybe clean up a little bit, get on that plane and join another party out at Midway Airport sometime early this morning, those fans, they don't have any place else that they'd rather be, certainly. Carl Everett, though, he took some time as he's getting dressed here to talk to our Chuck Garfien a moment ago.
Could you, when you came into this, did you think you could have swept these guys here in Anaheim? This is such a good team you guys beat.
Well, first of all, we came in and saying, if we beat Lackey, that first game, there's a great chance we're going to sweep them.
You knew this team had a backbone, but did you know it had a backbone like this in the playoffs? Because you didn't have the postseason experience, and then you show it like this.
But sometimes that's good when you got guys who just trying to win the baseball game, not really worrying about all the other stuff. My hat's off to Creedy. Creedy showed up, showed out. And our pitcher staff, outstanding. 4 straight complete games. Won't be duplicated.
Obviously, a World Series title is the goal, but what does this mean for you personally?
This is my first time here, 13 years. I never got out of the first round until now. Sweet.
Were you thinking about this back in spring training? When did it start coming into your mind that you guys could be celebrating a pennant? A pennant. There it is.
When we have about 85 wins. Have about 85 wins. We keep going where we're going. It's going to be special. And it is.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Carl Everett.
Yeah, that's Chuck Garfien with Carl Everett, and you see they've already put an X through 1959. The next numbers they can put an X through 1917. They just need 4 more wins over the National League champion. We've just been informed Paul Konerko is the American League Championship Series most valuable player with the 2 big home runs in games 3 and 4 and another RBI tonight in the 9th inning that extended the White Sox lead from 4-3 to 5-3. They eventually win Game 5, 6-3 to win this series over the Los Angeles Angels, 4-1, and move into the World Series for the first time since 1959. Now, we didn't hear much from the White Sox bullpen in this series, just 2/3 of an inning. I've forgotten who Dustin Hermanson is, but Chuck Garfien recognized him in the clubhouse.
Hey, Dustin, you would have loved to have been out there, I know. The bullpen wasn't needed at all, and that's fine with you, right?
Well, we like taking champagne baths, I guess. We don't pitch anymore. We just come here and take the champagne baths. No, but, you know, you can't say enough about what starters did this series. I mean, they were unbelievable.
What do you got, Bubba? What do you got?
They continue to do that. We'll sit and watch the World Series, I guess.
That was beer. That's the first beer I've seen. Most of it has been champagne.
Oh, that tastes better, though.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Don Cooper, getting me. I also want to ask you this. Joe Creedy has been so clutch. There must be something in his DNA that comes out every time in those late innings.
Well, I guess he's definitely our Mr. October. So, you know, hats off to him because I know he struggled a little bit this season. Some people gave him some hassle, but he came through for us when we needed it.
That was the same look I saw you give in Detroit.
I hope you see it again later, maybe in Chicago in another series. So.
Congratulations, Dustin.
Gosh, it's like VJ Day in there. You know, there's every kind of alcoholic beverage flowing, champagne, beer, and I hope Chuck brought a change of clothes, too.
Well, I thought was interesting the fact that, well, we're not really relief pitchers. We just kind of dress for the champagne parties.
Yeah.
That's a great line. But, you know, those guys, you know, we got to take in context what the whole season is. I mean, this is a terrific moment right here, but all of those guys played an integral part of this season in 162 games. I think at that time, Dustin Hermanson, before his back went bad, had something like 32 out of 33 saved.
Right.
Phenomenal. He put the White Sox in the position they were in. These guys who are free agents, Dustin Hermanson was a free agent who chose the White Sox, have really got to feel some vindication that they chose the right team. And talking to Kenny Williams, that's what these free agents did. And again, I hope these guys dress one more time and just come to the party and get soaked with champagne. If that's what it takes, that's fine. I don't think they'll mind. They've got a lot of innings under their belt. Again, we look at the fan contingency for the White Sox. That's a long way to travel.
Yeah, it is.
I know the White Sox took a group of investors and stuff out, but overall, you know, that's a lot of people going a long way across country, not knowing if the ball club was going to clinch it there, but going and then coming back. And that trophy's being passed around. It's a little bit like the Stanley Cup, for crying out loud. But we saw Scott Reiford when Chuck was interviewing Paul Konerko. Scott Reiford, Director of Public Relations, was taking him out to take a picture with the trophy as the most valuable player. That had to be a tough choice, because when you look at Joe Creedy and what he did at home against Kelvin Escobar, what he did tonight against Kelvin Escobar, and people aren't making, they're talking about that 3-2 curveball as like, oh, well, he just kind of missed with it. How many pitchers throw a 3-2 curveball, period? Never mind try to get a base hit and hit it up the middle. I mean, that's one of the toughest pitches in baseball to hit, even when you know it's coming. But can you imagine 3-2 when I know you're simply looking dead red for a fastball and being able to even put that ball in play? So that was just an outstanding at-bat. I think we saw it the whole series starting in Cleveland, went right into Detroit. Bottom line is, from Detroit to Cleveland, the White Sox are simply getting it done. Each and every one of these guys, a strong part of this organization, a strong part of this ball club. And I know Jerry Reinsdorf and Eddie Einhorn's out there. These are guys that are really numb. And Jerry, again, an owner. Yes, I do work for him, but this is a guy that, a lot like Gene Autry. Everybody admired Gene Autry. Jerry Reinsdorf is really looked at as an owner that's admired by his peers, and that's important to him. And I know in the city of Chicago, he takes some tough time. We see Manny Minoso right there. It's nice Manny went out.
Absolutely.
But Jerry Reinsdorf, when you have a tenure of 25 years, you've never won anything. This is a testament to the people that he's picked. I think all of these guys like doing this for Jerry Reinsdorf, because Jerry Reinsdorf is on the field every day. He's an owner that's out there talking to the guys. He really treats them a lot like sons. That whole coaching staff was his 83 team. So Jerry Reinsdorf is getting a lot of satisfaction out of this. And I guess, John Wayne's getting a lot himself sitting in there watching this.
Yeah, a lot of the same guys in that ownership group for the last 25 years, too. The same minority partners who have lived through winning ugly in '93 and 2000 and now 2005. They're finally going to the World Series. And here come the kids and the families to take part in this and enjoy this as well. And Ozzie Guillen spoke to our Gail Fisher just a moment ago.
Stuff we haven't seen since the 50s and 60s.
Well, I don't want to be cocky. I don't want to be big. I know that type of manager to be cocky with the team, but we know they're going to perform well. Over the year, all year long, I have a lot of faith in my bullpen. But, you don't need a bullpen when those guys throw like that. I got a lot of, I trust those guys. I like the way they was throwing the ball, and I stayed with them, and they did their job.
Joe Creedy coming up huge tonight. He's been terrific. September, he had 379. This kid, really, somebody you can carry you for a while, and he's doing it.
Well, I think we expect that from Joe. I think a lot of, Joe is the type of kid, when he's hot, he can carry his team. And good thing he did it in the right time, when we really need it. Especially when, in the end of the season when we were struggle, he got to keep a big home run against Cleveland, and he keep us in the game.
Ozzie, this is such an amazing.
Congratulations. Emmett wants to take.
Hey, babe, what's up? Thank you. One second. He said, Mr. Bush. Hey, what's up?
Mr. Bush, has the president of Venezuela called yet?
No. I think I talked to them a couple of times. I talked to my mom. They say that whole country going crazy. I don't blame it. I think I know a lot of people was waiting for this. And, right now, I just told them, hopefully we win this thing, and hopefully I can take the trophy to Venezuela.
Yeah, what about the people?
Yeah, that trophy will go to Venezuela and all over the South Side and to the home. It should be like the Stanley Cup. Every player should get to spend a day with the trophy. They can start a tradition there as well in baseball as well as they do in hockey. Once again, you're looking live now as the rain is coming down in Orange County, California. They say it never rains in sunny California.
It never rained when I was there, but...
You know, maybe when the White Sox win a pennant, it does. It's that infrequent, but they've got one now in the rain, and the fans aren't going anywhere. Bobby Jenks, you know, you think about this guy. You talked about Dustin Hermanson earlier. Here's a guy who picked up for Hermanson when he faltered and had the bulky back. He was picked up by the White Sox off the scrap heap from the Angels. Got to feel good for him to win this series in Anaheim, and here he is with our Chuck Garfien.
We're going to series, and the way our starters pitch today, you can't take the ball out of anybody's hand.
But how about you personally? Did you want to go in there and face your former team? Be frank, be honest.
Honestly, yeah, it would have been nice to, after everything that happened, winning on their turf, it would have made the point a lot better.
I would imagine your arm is pretty fresh right now, huh?
Yeah, I think everybody did.
What is that going to mean for you guys going forward in the World Series and having a fresh bullpen like you have?
Oh, it means everything. Just, the way the starters been this time, anything could happen in those big games. And, knowing that we have a fresh bullpen like we do, we can go in early if we have to.
You're a rookie, but 1959 is a long, long time for a city not to have a pennant. Do you realize what this means to the city of Chicago?
Oh, I think I do. I mean, I don't fully understand, but I have a great idea on what this means to everybody in the Chicago area. And, being able to be a part of it, it's awesome.
And you do this, you clinch this on the road just like you did the last two times. I think that shows what this team is all about. You can win big games on the road in the playoffs, or at least with the chance to get in the playoffs like you did in Detroit.
Yeah, they've been doing this all year. Since I've been here, I've seen nothing but big game winners on this club.
Bobby Jenks, congratulations. Have a good night, okay?
All right, Chuck, they're all winners today. 4 wins on the road in the playoffs. That's 9 in a row for this team going back to the regular season, which is now 56-29 on the road this season. Pat Boyle standing out there in the rain at Angel Stadium. Pat, are they calling for you?
No, they want hats. They want hats right now as the final White Sox players and management and coaches are making their way up the tunnel, and they'll be getting ready to board that bus as they make their way to the airport and fly out of here the next hour. Of course, they'll look to make their way to Midway and touchdown between 4 and 5 a.m. Chicago time. The fans here just moments ago were saying, we're not leaving. We're not leaving. I don't think they want this to end. 1959 has been a long, long time. Most of these people that are here obviously weren't even born then, but they're here for their fathers and mothers and uncles and aunts that have cheered for this team and have dealt with it over and over, but 46 years of futility finally coming to an end as they make their way to the Fall Classic and riding a tremendous high. Guys, I think it is fitting that this team that had the best record on the road in the major leagues this year got it done on the road as they have all season long. Got it done in Detroit to clinch, got it done in Boston to win the division series, and then again getting it done 3 straight in Anaheim thanks to stellar pitching, some timely hitting, and some weird plays.
Yeah, absolutely, Pat. And if you think about it, too, that means that now, right, the White Sox would have to win in either St. Louis or Houston in 4 or 5 to win the World Series to keep it consistent. And here's the celebration a few minutes ago, actually now about an hour ago, after the White Sox beat the Angels 6-3 to win this American League Championship Series in 5 games. And Bill, you hear Pat talk about how most of these people were not born when the Sox were last in the series. That means they've been cheering all their lives for a team which hasn't made the World Series until now. And I think, we've talked a lot over the past, not only week from this series, but 2 weeks going back to the end of the regular season. When you think about the way the national announcers in some ways treated the White Sox during that Boston series, the Red Sox were the darlings of that series. Of course they were. They were the defending champs. But there's a pretty good feel-good story here, too. The Red Sox aren't the only team that's gone a long time without a World Series. The White Sox, too, they're in the World Series. They have this chance. And I think the rest of the nation is discovering what this team is all about and just how good a team they are.
Well, I think what the problem is the internet, and I say that because most everybody doesn't know this ball club unless you follow it every day like you and I do. Most of them are picking up the internet and they're looking at some articles, they're reading about no attendance, they're reading about choking, they're reading about all of this, and they can only interpret it one way. I think they have to see it themselves. I remember talking to Tim McCarver about a month ago, and we talked about the same thing. He said, Bill, how can you be a bad team when you've won almost 80 ball games? No team is bad. I don't understand this. I don't understand why the press is doing this. But basically what it was, you know, the White Sox organization is an organization, again, that has always struggled attendance-wise in April and May. We try to explain it year in and year out. That doesn't do any good. People have to appreciate the fact that we drew 2.4 million, almost 2.4 million people in a city. The Chicago Cubs drew almost 3 million. That's 5 million people watching baseball, 4.5 million. How many cities can support two teams other than New York? So you got to take pride in that even with another team in town, we drew 2.4 million. And as a Sox fan, believe me, you have to win to draw people. We've never diverted from that in our conversations. You have to put a winner on the field. They're not satisfied with second place. Everybody complains about, well, wow, wait a minute, you're only a game in front of 1st of September. How come nobody's showing up? You know why? People are going to school. Kids go to school. That's just the way it is on the South Side. What's happening right now is not going to change a lot next year. I think we'll draw more people. Are you going to see them in April next year? No, you'll see them on opening day rooting on hopefully a world champion, but that'll be it. All of a sudden, there'll be like 15 to 20,000. Everybody will go, ah, here goes the Sox again. They can't draw, but that's all right. That's what it is. It's tough to be a Sox fan, proud for the city. I think the city itself is really going to enjoy this World Series. There hasn't been one here in a long time.
And 5.5 million people go to the ballparks, these two great ballparks that we have. They play 6 games against each other. And the two teams combined hadn't won a World Series in 175 years. So 185 years. 185 years. So, I mean, that's a long drought of baseball to not win a World Series. Hopefully, it ends this year. We have been on the air now for over an hour, and we've still got over an hour to go. A lot more still ahead, including full highlights, more from Ozzie Guillen, more from Mark Burley, more from a ton of White Sox players you have yet to hear from as we continue here on White Sox Postgame Live, presented by Joe's Crab Shack. As we take this first break, we want to show you our White Sox poll question. Who is your American League Championship Series MVP? You can't vote for the whole team because that's what it defeats the purpose. But we want to hear from you. A. Jose Contreras, B. Joe Creedy, C. Paul Konerko, D. Scott Podsednik. If you want someone else, you'll have to write in that candidate. Go to ComcastSportsNet.com, click on the Chicago page, then on the White Sox page and cast your vote. We have the results later as we're taking you up till 1 in the morning here on White Sox Postgame Live.
Cy Young Award winner, early win. Ground ball to first. The White Sox have won the pennant. Jose Contreras goes all 9. And the White Sox are going to the World Series.